Yeah, so I have a concept to throw by y'all. So, and I guess you could say that it revolves around religion and science. So, here we go. If there wasn't. Alright, so. Hmm, how should I put this? Alright, so let's say that, you know, let's say hypothetical that there is a theoretical God. Would this God give humanity magic? I don't mean magic as in trickery of the eyes. No, I mean, actual magic where I can levitate that glass, go hocus pocus, and throw it across the darn yard at hypersonic speeds and all of that type magic. And I guess, if there were to be a god, we can only look at anime why humanity does not have magic. I mean, in every anime where magic is used, humanity has developed world-ending magic. Beings with the capability of ending entire continents are capable of being born. People are capable of training themselves into becoming, like the definition of God, basically. We can just look at anime on why the idea of humanity having magic is a bad idea. Take, for example, Full Metal Alchemist in regard, Full Metal Alchemist in regards to, biological magic, biology magic, and such, or alchemy, put it more precisely. Where one would fuse a living organism with another one to get a chimera and such, or trying to bring back the dead and proceeding to get something like that of a homunculi, or something like that. With modern day understanding and technology, one could in theory create entire organisms from dirt, basically. And I don't mean, in theory, bring back the dead. No, I mean in theory, create silicon-based organisms, or try and create, uh, entirely new life forms by trying to recreate bacteria or cells and such using alchemy. And that's in regards to alchemy, because the thing is about bacteria and cells is that you need carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen to make the base components, such as protein, amino acids, and the building blocks for DNA, such as sugar, thymine, adenine, guanine, and and cytosine with phosphate. That's how you make DNA. RNA, just switches the T to a U, and you have RNA. It's not as simple as that, but still. Hexanase is basically, where you switch up the sugar and sometimes the base and such. With magic, you can, just manipulate atoms with magic, theoretically speaking. But yes. And then, of course, you have the factor of humanity remaining stagnant in regards to technological development. In other words, humanity is not ready for magic. If there is a God out there, the dumbest thing he would do is give this species the ability to manipulate magic, knowing that full damn well on a moment's notice we could end this entire darn world with, I don't know, 20,000 nukes, if we so desired. In fact, in the past, we were willing to drop test 2 nukes on a singular country, on two separate cities, let alone drop test several nukes in deserts, in regards to it all. In some cases, underground. But when it's all said and done, and those are, weapons that we can develop without magic. Imagine what we can do with magic. Antimatter would be able to be created like that. A breeze. In fact, we can create exotic matter out the ass if we were to have the ability to control and manipulate magic. So, I guess one of the reasonings why there might be a creator is that. The simple factor that there is no magic, but there is only science and physics. Another reasoning why there might be a creator is that there's set laws for certain scenarios, potentially set laws for certain scenarios. Of course, we won't figure out all said laws of physics, and we won't know that, that there's, only set laws. In fact, here's the thing. If we weren't living in a simulation, or if, there is no God, there would be no rules, no regulations, no order, and such. And as we can see, there's at the very least some form of order and such to it all. There is some form of, naturally occurring laws and such that exists. But of course, in the very end, how can you prove something that doesn't want to be proven, or that is technically the entire environment that you live in? Because here's the thing. If we live in a simulation that proves that there is a God, if there is a God, if we do prove one day that there is a God, then that proves that we live in a simulation. It's one of those types of scenarios. And the only way to prove it is, not by looking for, not by looking for God or the creator or whatever, but the only way to prove it is by finding out, whether or not if everything is truly set in stone. While at the same time finding out whether or not if everything's not set in stone. Because like I said, simulations has set variables with very little alteration. While at the same time non-simulations do not have set variables. In fact, it can go infinite one direction, infinite another direction, and then if it wanted to, it can loop within inside of itself, and paradoxes can theoretically exist. And of course, however, I need proper research and funding to develop this entire line of thinking. Don't have either. If I did, then I would inevitably try and research and develop it. Either that, or pretty much write a piece of paper stating that, in theory, if there was a God, then he potentially does exist. If there is not a God, then how do we know that there is not a God? Because you cannot prove or disprove what essentially cannot be proven.